Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine, heir of salvation, purchase of God, born of His Spirit, washed in His blood. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, my Savior all the day long.
Hey, my name is Barbara O'Shine, and the reason why we're still going to Knott's Avenue Church, Christian Church, is because God has not told us to leave. He did not tell us in His Word to follow after a person. He told us to follow Him, and He is still alive. He speaks to us daily, consistently, and so that's the reason why we're still at Knott's Avenue, because when we were looking for a Bible teaching church, I had just left the church that there was a split and it was devastating. So we were looking for a good, strong church that we can grow in, a church that cares and study the Word and read their Bible daily. So when we went to Knott's Avenue and we saw that, we knew that the Lord had led us to be at that church. We continue to go back periodically while we visit other churches, and so then my husband said, I believe this is the church that the Lord wants us to be. And then the greeter, especially Joe Bond, he was such a kind person. He was so friendly. He always greeted us at the door, and he had such a heart for the people that walked in, and so we felt good about going there, and we believe strongly that the Lord did speak to us and told us this is the church we should be. And He have not tell us to leave, so we're still there. Until He says so, we'll continue to be there.
Roy?
Like my wife said, when we were shopping, looking for a church, a home church, we visited Knott, and we found lots of warm, welcome folks. The worship team was great, the fellowship was great, and most of all, it was a Bible teaching church. And that's what we were looking for, some place, like my wife says, where we can grow in the Lord. It was a friendly, warm, family-oriented church, and it still is. And for others that are not sure what KACC is, I would encourage them, if you're looking for a home church, KACC is the place. Friendly, warm, welcome, friendly people. The Spirit of the Lord is still there, as far as I'm concerned. And until such time that the Lord will lead us somewhere else for whatever reason, we're going to be at Knott Avenue Christian Church.
any recommendations you would give to any newcomer or a person or a family who have second thoughts about maybe something they didn't like at the church, and they're thinking about, well, this is not my church, and maybe I ought to go somewhere else. What advice would you give them before they even take such a drastic move like that? From either one of you.
Well, like Pastor Paul said at the message today, this morning, he says, the first, like he talked about first values, he says, God speaks before we speak. And he also said, it's not what we like, it's about what is right. And that is so true what Pastor Paul said. He said that always let God speak. And we submit to God, and we let God speak to us before we make any decision.
I would say that if you're looking for a church where you can participate, plenty of ministry at KACC, plenty of ways to encourage others. If that's the church that you're looking for, I would say KACC is a place for one, and looking especially for family, people that has family, to grow.
So anything you want to say to the people at Knott Avenue or the young people who are just joining the church? Anything you want to say to them about Knott Avenue?
Well, I think it's a growing church, and it's a God-fearing church. It preaches the gospel, hear, believe, and confess your sins and be baptized. And I believe that this is the word of God that wants to be spread around. And you are young, and you need to do this. Stick with us, stick with the church, and spread the word.
How about you, Mr. Brown?
And you need to get a job in the church. We have lots of
volunteers.
Lots of places where you can volunteer. And I know they're always open for volunteers and ushering and taking communion and stuff like that. So it would be good if all the new members got a job someplace in the church, because you get to know the people a lot better when you're working with them. And I know Evelyn helped prepare communion, and that you get to know those ladies that are doing that.
Well, I Love Anaheim is about loving the city which you live in, and you have the opportunity to serve your community. So this is a great opportunity. They do service throughout our community about 4 times a year. You can go to loveanaheim.org and sign up for one of their volunteer things. And the great part is you can do it as a family. So I hope you guys will step up and help your community.
We'd like to invite people that have bottles and cans that would like to bring them to the church, and they could drop them off in a bag or something like that, and we'll pick them up, and that will help our ministry of what we're doing, and it'll be something good for people that if they're going to throw their bottles and cans, which a lot of people do, they throw their bottles and cans away, you see it a lot, but if they just put it in a bag and they bring it, and we'll pick them up, and we'll take it from there. So bottles, glass, and plastic bottles, glass, and cans, and thank you.
Paul Crandall. He is an anointed, amazing Bible scholar in the way of sharing God's message.
Yeah, he's
really remarkable.
He's really gifted. I mean,
more than any I've heard.
Yeah, you listen to most of these pastors on the radio or other churches, It's the same old story.
I get it,
We've heard
you
this.
know.
We've heard the Bible taught this way since the beginning. You give the Bible to Paul to teach it, and it's like, wow, I've never heard that
He
before.
just twisted it up,
It's
does it
just
calmly,
fantastic.
gently, and all of a sudden you go, oh, wow, how did he do that? How did he put God as our father and how fathers should handle their children? How did he do that?
That was really impressed me the most, and I've been impressed every week so far that he's taken these topics and just tweaked it just a little bit, and it's like it comes into focus. It's like, whoa, that is just
It's
awesome.
marvelous.
I was the first person of color to come to Knott Avenue, and I was treated very well. I was embraced by all the members that I knew. I became a greeter, and I was on the board, and I did a lot of things of that nature. But it was Orange County in 1978, so you can imagine probably 1979 when I went on the board. Or 1980.
You would be the first person of color to be in the board, too.
Yes, I'm the first person of color to be on the board. So I always look at myself as a pioneer, I guess. So I was a pioneer for that particular cause. But I just want to say that my loyalty is to Knott Avenue because they did treat me very well. I didn't feel left out. I didn't feel anything that would make a first person feel uncomfortable, and I made a lot of friends here. Most of them are gone, but a lot of old timers know who I am because they see me, and it's a good thing. There's one old timer right there that knows me. He's just around the corner. But I must say that the people here at Knott were very, very kind and understanding, and they still are. So I take my hat off to Knott Avenue. We're growing in a different direction right now, and hopefully God will show favors towards us to continue to grow and bring people closer to His kingdom.
Your family and you yourself have gone through many changes at Knott Avenue over the last 60 years. And you said, this is like your home to you. A lot of people have moved on to other churches nearby or maybe to other communities or cities far away. Why do you stay here? Why do you keep coming to Knott?
Like I said earlier, this is my home. This is where I grew up. This is where I'm comfortable. I don't do change very well. And so even though Knott Avenue has changed through different pastors, this is my home. This is where I grew up. And I have a lot of good friends that are still here. And every once in a while we have reunions and I'll say, yeah, I'm still here.
What can you say to Knott Avenue right now has a lot of younger people. The area has changed a lot over the years. In fact, when Knott Avenue first came, was a church plant here. This was a lot of young people here. And now we have another generation of young people trying to look for a church or maybe seeking salvation. What would you say to the people, newcomers to Knott Avenue Church, or those who just become members and are still thinking about, should this be my home? What would you say to them?
Coming to church is definitely not a club. It's a place where you need to come and get involved. You go to work every day. You don't just go to work just to earn money. You're doing something. When you come to church, you need to be that same team member and put yourself and get involved in whatever area. There's so many areas where you can get involved in. My mom did the communion. We get baptism. I've done that a couple of times. Serving the food. I mean, there's so many things to get involved in, and just coming to put your attendance in is not really what Christ wants us to do. He wants us to be involved in our church and be a living example of what we should do. And if the neighborhood sees the activities here at the church. And if you're a part of that, that's all glory for God.
Filled with His goodness, lost in His love.